So this should be a fun one. We might actually know the first 3 starting lineups of the Lions and some other positions as well. Of course, it's going to be making a lot of assumptions. We're looking to the future, but it's fun. So let's get stuck into this one, because we know the finalists of the URC and the Premiership, meaning we're probably not going to have players from Leinster, Bath and Leicester involved too much in that Argentina game, although if needs must, maybe they will. So we probably know a lot of what the Argentina team is going to be. We've also seen already Jamie George being called up for training in Portugal. That was a move that really surprised no one. I'd predicted it in the last Lions video, and you need 2 hookers to train well. Now, it would be strange for him to have training all week and then not feature in the Argentina game and just parachute guys in who weren't really ready and risk Sheehan or Kelleher. So I think you'll see Jamie George in that game, probably on the bench as well. So I'll put up on the side the revised team that probably is going to face Argentina, and it's quite a good mix actually of nations. Some of you say it's too many English, but maybe it's actually not too bad after all. We've got Schoeman and Xander Fagerson could be in the front row with, say, Cowan Dickey. Atoje and Byrne, very strong, could be the test pairing. We've talked about that fast back row of Tom Curry, Morgan and Earl we might see. They might put the 2 Northampton guys together to get off and running. A bit harsh on Thomas Williams, but seems to make sense. Tuipulotu, we saw in that semi-final in their loss to Leinster, looked really good at 13. The last try he scored was unbelievable, just something from nothing. So he could absolutely feature at 13 in this game and maybe the test series. So Aki Tuipulotu, that's an exciting centre pairing. And then Daly could go on one wing, Freeman on the other, and Marcus Smith at 15 seems to make a fair bit of sense. And then a few other guys filling in there. Pollock, I think you keep him on the bench and just keep his powder dry and keep him, nice and safe, if you like, and release him a bit later in the tour. But then after the Argentina game, when we actually arrive in Australia, I think we can make a fair few assumptions. Of course, these may not be fully true, but I think they've got some merit to them. Number 1 is Andy Farrell's going to want to get everybody a game nice and early, make them feel like they're Lions, and you really feel like you're a Lion when you've started as well. So want to get them game time and a start each as quickly as possible, and he can do that in those first 3 games if you include that Argentina game as well. But he is going to want to have a look at some potential pairings, some units, back rows, half-back centres as well. So that's going to shape how he's going to put these teams together. And that's made even more likely by the fact that these games are so close together, you can't play the same team back-to-back really, even if you wanted to, because you'd be really straining people's fitness, not giving them much time to recover. And at some point, Andy Farrell is going to want to put the bulk of what he thinks is his test team together for a full game. And I think that's probably going to be maybe the Waratahs or the Brumbies game, the 4th or 5th game. Probably not the Australia-New Zealand Invitational, because we don't know who's going to be in it and they won't have too much cohesion. But I think it's that Waratahs-Brumbies game is where the crunch is going to be. He's going to feel what he thinks is his best team, and the team we see in the Australia-New Zealand Invitational team will be kind of like a final last chance for a few places maybe, and not many test starters there. So in conclusion, if we follow that logic, if it is decent logic, I think we can have a fair stab at these first 3 teams. So let's just get it straight up there and talk about it. So the Argentina team we've talked about, and then there should be a start for Genge and Porter. The same, Cowan Dickey plays against Argentina, and then a start for Sheehan and Kelleher, Furlong and Stewart. Atoje, I think, would play both of the first 2 games, because you're going to want your captain to play the Argentina game, of course, but also the first proper tour game. You're going to want him there, and then maybe he gets a rest or on the bench maybe for the 3rd game. And then Cummings gets a start, Chesham gets a start at the 2nd row as well, Andy gets a start at 6, and Byrne gets a start at 6. I do think Andy Farrell's going to want to look at Chesham and Byrne as potential big blind size extra line out jumpers in those first 3 games. I'm also going to go out on a limb and say that Pollock is fairly protected for the first couple of games, and then he features for a start in that 3rd game just to keep him under the radar maybe. He may change around the 8s between Earl and Conan. I do believe those are the 2 guys vying for 8. Now, with the 9s and 10s, he might want to have a look at the pairings, Mitchell and Finn Smith in that Argentina game, then get Gibson, Park and Russell together for the Western Force, as they are the probably preeminent pairing at halfback, and then try Thomas Williams and Marcus Smith. If Marcus Smith is going to be your 3rd 10, he needs to have a start as well, and you play around the same with the backs, try and get Tuipulotu and Jones together at some point. I am assuming everyone is fit because at the moment the likes of Jones, Van der Merwe, a few question marks. But for this one, let's just say they are, and then give a go with Aki and Ringrose together, the two Irish guys, the two Scottish, the two Irish, to look at those units. Kinghorn, a bit injured as well, but you'd get him a start if he's fit. So you have Marcus Smith, Keenan and Kinghorn all having a go at 15, and you rotate the bench. So could we see the first 3 games line up something like that, giving everyone a start in that famous Lions jersey? And then from those 3 games, you start putting together what you think might be the starting test team, give it a roll and see if it works. If not, you fiddle with it a bit and you've still got a bit of time. So that's where I think we're going, making some assumptions, having some fun here, but let me know how close you think I may be, and if you think it might go differently. Do let me know what you think down below with those teams in the comments, and I do have the offer going on the manual home testosterone testing kits for this summer. It's pretty good, 45% off, RugbyAnalyst 45, and I will just hint at a fantastic competition coming up. For the Six Nations, we did my starting lineup. Really good game where if you predict the exact starting 15, you go into a draw or you win outright a prize each round. And that was the Lions Captain's Dinner. Pop some pictures up. A load of winners from this channel went as well, which was great. And I can announce that my starting lineup prizes are stepping up for the Lions series, starting with that Western Force game as the first one you can predict for. If you get it right, the prizes are going to be looking like some hospitality tickets to one of the autumn international games, and a pair of those to be won each and every game in the series, and a load of spending money as well. I'll go into details when the game is properly launched, but that's going to be awesome. You'll want to get involved in that. So lots to look forward to. Let me know what you think of my predictions. Comments down below, like, subscribe if you haven't already as the Lions approaches, and I'll catch you next time.